Hello, Serinda Jones here, and I am doing a tutorial on a paper bead bracelet for Cloth Paper Scissors for their new edition magazine, I Heart Paper. So let's get right to it. I want to show you some of the tools that you will possibly need. Some you will definitely need, and others it's up to you. First off, you're going to need some paper. I choose some pattern paper. You can make your own paper. Keep in mind the thickness of the paper will determine the thickness of your end result bead. I do strips of 6 inches by an inch. You will need 20 of these strips for a 7-inch bracelet. You will also need some wire. I have two different kinds here. This one is steel wire that is galvanized. That's just the silver, which is great to use, and it's an 18 gauge. And then I also have a dark annealed steel wire that is 19 gauge, and it will say somewhere on the package what the gauge is. I find that these two gauges are best. The 18 gauge tends to be a little bit harder to work with, so if you have delicate fingers, I would go with the smaller gauge. You will need some Tombow glue. It's been around on the market forever. It's paper crafting, and it's a very sticky glue, so you might also need some baby oil to remove the stick off your fingertips. You will need wire cutters of some sort. This is what I use. It's just a basic thing. You can use needle nose pliers, but I prefer to use these Weber's jewelry pliers. And when you see the tutorial, you'll understand why. This is a consistent barrel, and it makes the circles for the wires consistently the same size. And then you'll need a bracelet mandrel or your wrist, and I prefer using my wrist, so it's just a matter of what you are comfortable with, and let's get to it. I'll be right back with your instructions. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to roll the paper strips for your bracelet. This is the wooden dowel that you can, in the actual instructions I explain how you can cut a wooden dowel with a razor blade, which helps you make the hole for your bead the exact same size. I found that you don't necessarily need to do that. What I have done is you can take your paper dowel and just start the paper and just start rolling it, if that makes sense. So you're just trying to get it going, and then eventually you'll come to a point where you can take out the paper dowel, and then you'll squish the either side, and then you can just roll the whole thing up like that. So it's actually a lot less hassle to do it this way. And then what you'll do is you'll take your Tombow glue on your flag right here, and you'll place make sure the glue on the flag, and make sure you get to the very ends. Now, Tombow glue is, for any of you that haven't used it, is a very sticky substance. So it's going to be normal to squish out the sides. You'll just press it down. It's kind of a sticky, messy job, this part, but it just adheres amazingly. So that's how you make your paper bead. Hi there. Okay, so once you have all of your rolled paper, there's 20 here, you'll find that the glue, the Tombow glue, will leave this really sticky residue, and as you pick up things, everything is going to stick to your hands or your fingertips. So baby oil will take that off, and then just wash with soap and water after that. So once you have all of these little guys, you're going to take your steel wire, dark annealed steel wire, or any color for that matter. You could also use the silver steel. I just prefer the dark steel. I don't know, it's just my preference. And then it just comes out of the bottom. You'll measure 2 different lengths. I have here for a 7-inch bracelet, I am using 2 8-inch wires of the 19 gauge steel. And then for your 20 paper beads, you will need obviously 20 of these, and they're 2.5 inches. So I'm going to get right into it, and you can use either needle nose pliers or these are jewelry pliers. They're by Weber's, and I love them. They're really a fantastic deal. So what you do is, I'm going to use the small round end. You pierce that up, and then you just bend the wire, and then you move it a little bit in, and then close the gap. And then also you're going to have a little bit of, just to make it perfect, a little bit of a edge right there, so you'll just move this wire right into place, and then your beads are going to go right on those. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll need to trim a bit, but okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple more of these for you. You fold it over, and then you move it, close the gap, and then you have a little bit of another gap, and then you push it over. Okay, so what I've done is I have strung the wires. I've curled the one end, and then now we're going to slip the paper bead onto it. And you may have to adjust this length. I am noticing that I would like to have about 7/8 inch off the top. So you just trim off the excess, and you know, you'll just have to kind of give it a go to see exactly where you would, what feels comfortable, if your loops are too big, or if you're using this barrel or that barrel. So you'll just have to adjust it for your own tools. Okay, so here we are. I have my paper bead on there. I've adjusted it. You need to make sure that the loops face in the same direction, because otherwise it won't go on your bracelet. So I'm using the small end, and I'm turning and turning and turning, and just snug it up pretty tight right there. And then if you see that you're a little off, you can take your fingers and then your pliers with the other one, and then twist them in the same direction. Let's try that again. Okay, and I'm going to trim off the excess, possibly. Make sure that you're using the same side consistently. Alright, and then you just keep twisting, and I just use my finger to help that. And then make sure that your circles, your little loops, are lined up, and if not, it is easy to fix. And then the last one. And this one might be a little tight. Oh, no, we're good. You might just need to adjust, you know, just bear with it. It's not that big of a deal. Fix the other end, and then make sure that your loops are facing the same direction. Okay, so once you have all of that completed, you take your 2 long wires, I believe these are 8 inches, and I roll them both at the same time. So you're basically creating a stop for the beads to go on. So I have all of my beads on my 2 wires, and what I'm going to do is do the ends just like I did with the beads. It's very simple. You grab the end of the wire and you start curling. And it just depends on, I like to finish it, so I like to have a couple of twists on the end, maybe 2.5 to 3. Okay, come off there. And then you're going to do the same with the other side. And you'll want to make sure that the ends are facing the same direction. And anything can be redone, undone, however you like. So that is what it looks like. Now it's as simple as molding it, simple, to your wrist. And you're going to get some overlapping until you get it to the right size, and it is actually a very comfortable bracelet. I have a few little holes, as you can see right there, so I'm going to take that off. And this one doesn't have as many twists on it, on the wire, so I'm just going to give it another extra and probably do the same thing to the other side. And maybe one more here. That looks a little bit better. And you don't want them all jammed up because you want it to feel pretty comfortable and loose. So there you have it. That is how you make your paper bracelets. I hope you will make yours, and I would love to see them, so please share them on my blog. I will put an in links link up, so you just directly add your blog post of your bracelet. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed.